Hi, it's Josh with RAB Radio, and this is a Hebrew word study on heart. Here's author C.J. Lovik.
The dictionary defines a heart anatomically as a hollow pump-like organ of blood circulation. While this is the view of the heart based on observable science, the scriptures declare that the heart is far more than a biological pump that keeps the blood circulating through our body. The scriptures describe the heart as the center of the total personality, especially with reference to intuition, feeling, or emotion. Even medical science is beginning to catch up with the fact that the heart performs duties that fall under the categories of personality preferences, behavior, reason, and emotion that are described in the Bible. Since the advent of the human heart transplant, the modern knowledge of the heart has been in flux as doctors report feedback from those who have received heart transplants, reports that leave them scratching their heads, since science cannot explain why a significant percentage of those who have received the transplant experience changes in their personality and report that they feel like another person is living inside them. The evidence that the heart is the seat of the emotional makeup of man is growing. A surprise to modern science, but not to biblical literalists, who have known all along that the references to the heart of man in the Scripture were to be taken literally and not simply as metaphorical figures of speech. The heart is revealed in Scripture as the center of emotion. The heart, according to Scripture, is said to have the capacity to reason and think and imagine and to feel strong emotions such as joy and grief. It is with our heart that we understand that we have the capacity for sympathy, feeling, affection, and love. In the Scriptures, the heart is sometimes used to describe our spirit, our courage, and even our enthusiasm. God declares that He has the power to write things on the heart as if they were a tablet. Is this simply an allegory? Is it possible that what God is prophesying can be understood literally? Before you discount the idea, consider that man now understands that the body has a language that is in the blood. It is called DNA. Medical science is all abuzz as they consider the ways that they can resequence or rewrite a person's DNA and by so doing change the physical condition of a man. How many articles are showing up in medical and science digests that suggest that ailments and genetic diseases, including cancer, can be cured by rewriting the DNA in the bloodstream through some sort of new DNA code introduced and then copied by the person's own DNA. This is all connected to the blood of man and the heart that pumps it through the body. Long ago, the Scriptures declared that the life was in the blood, and without the heart, that life cannot be sustained. Let's look at the first and second time the Hebrew word translated into English as heart is used in Scripture. Here's what we read in Genesis 6, 5 and 6. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Is it an accident that the first paragraph that uses the Hebrew word we translate as heart reveals that man's heart is imagining evil continually, which is causing God's heart to grieve? The word heart in Hebrew is composed of two letters, the lamed and the bet. Let's take a look at the picture that underpins these two letters and see if we can begin to understand what God has to say about the human heart. The first letter in the Hebrew word translated into the English Scriptures as heart is lamed. Lamed is pictured as a staff, a picture that is immediately understood. The shepherd's staff is used as an instrument of authority over the sheep. It can be used to comfort, protect, discipline, control, and guide the sheep. Lamed means to have authority, to urge forward. Lamed can also be understood as the tongue and has a dual but complementary meaning of the voice of authority. The second letter in the Hebrew word we translate into English as heart is bet. The easiest way to remember the conventional meaning of the Hebrew word bet is to remember that it is the first letter in the first word of the Torah. Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning." And even in the English translation, that first word in the Scriptures is the word in. This is a pretty amazing letter that must be very important if it is to be the first letter we find in the ancient prophetic scriptures, the picture of Bet complements the idea of being in or inside. Bet is pictured as a house or a tent. Bet is the picture of a dwelling place that is linked to the concept of family and more specifically, the son. Bet Resh is the picture of the Bet, the tent or the house, and the Resh, the prince. He is the prince that lives in the house. And who is that? He is the son. The scriptures compare our human body, the body we temporarily live inside, to a tent or a tabernacle. Let's read what the scriptures teach in 2 Corinthians 5:1. This is from the ESV. We know, for instance, that if our earthly dwelling were taken down like a tent, we have a permanent house in heaven, made not by man, but by God. In 2 Corinthians 5:4 we read, For while we are still in this tent, we groan, being burdened. What is the picture meaning of the Hebrew we translate into English as heart? The first letter in the Hebrew word heart. God pictures the heart as the voice of authority, the lamed, the picture of the shepherd's staff. The second letter in the Hebrew word heart. God pictures the heart as a tent or house. The picture translation is as follows. The heart is the controlling voice of authority that is inside man. According to the scriptures, the greatest challenge for man is to live up to the expectations that God, the Creator, built into the very function and purpose of the human heart. That purpose is God's primary concern when it comes to the condition of man. It is the place God checks to make sure that man is on the path to eternal life in His presence. The essence of man's life, from God's perspective, begins with the condition of man's heart. God summarized it for us in one short sentence so that everyone could understand it. Sadly, the human heart is incapable of doing what it was designed to do because it has been mortally wounded by sin. And what is that one thing? What is the first thing, the wellspring of eternal life? Love the Lord your God with all your heart. The picture meaning of heart puts us on a path to God's amazing revelation regarding the human heart.
And if that was a blessing to you, let us know. Leave a comment or send us a message. Also, check out the other videos on the site. There's a number of other word studies. Subscribe to our mailing list. And if you want to look into this a little bit more deeply, you can get the book. You can get it at livingwordin3d.com or rockonthebooks.com.